Hey, it's the Sophia Chang Show. So I was trying to enjoy the last bits of sunlight here, and I had to go running inside because the neighbors are screaming their heads off at each other, which is not unusual, but it is extremely sad, a little bit triggering, because I can relate a little too much. And just that even if you didn't come out of a lot of violence and chaos, I think most people, when they hear the screaming voice, I think a lot of psychological studies have shown that it produces a certain amount of stress. I really do think it does produce a bit of stress hormone within you. Just to hear conflict, hear raised voices, to hear screaming, even if it's not directed at you. So, I definitely feel pretty triggered right now. And then another part of me really wants to play marriage family therapist to this couple. They are a really older couple who've been together for a long time. And unfortunately, as is really, really common in the Chinese culture, I don't know about your culture, I can say in our culture, it is so common to really deeply hate your spouse and to never ever divorce, because we do not do that. We do not abandon people. We do not renege on our obligations and our commitments, and we don't walk out of anything, at least physically. I can't say too much about emotional abandonment, which is like a hallmark of the Chinese family system. But at least we stay married, we stay living together. And it sucks. It really sucks. And so a lot of you know that I did my graduate school in counseling psychology, for MFT. And I was a women's dating and sex coach for a while, and life coach and business coach, all that, blah, yada, yada. And so when I hear conflict like this, especially as an outsider, listening to the progression of it, it is so easy for me to immediately pick up exactly where things are going wrong. So my yellow brethren know that the Chinese communicate through screaming a lot, especially the Cantonese and the Toisan. And the reason why this happens so much is because our culture really does not like communication. It's extremely rude to say things straight out. It's really like the most disrespectful thing. It's shameful. How dare you be so selfish? And that causes a lot of problems. There's a lot of mind reading that has to happen. There's a lot of empaths running around in our culture, and that can be really dangerous because we're very, very sensitive people. We pick up on a lot of things in the environment and in other people, and we feel other people's feelings, and it is torture, okay? It effing sucks. So here's where I would love to infuse a little bit of what I learned from my white Western upbringing and schooling and nonviolent communication, all that frou-frou light, woo-woo stuff from psychology. And I think this is good for anybody who has trouble communicating as well, of all races. So if you find yourself in screaming arguments, it's because you are trying to get a need met. That's the bottom line. At base level, all this screaming is really just this wounded, damaged part of you inside, very likely from very young, even all the way from infancy, all the way even to the womb, okay? There's trauma going all the way back in vitro, and something did not get met, something really vital, something vital to your existence even. Okay, my cranial sacral therapist calls it the need hole. So that need hole is screaming. That's what's screaming so violently. Because if you really think about it logically, there's no reason whatever triggered that fight. Oh, who left the garage door open? That is not a cause for screaming bloody murder. So if you're screaming bloody murder, there's something in you in deep pain. So here's how to actually get that need met that doesn't resolve in a screaming argument where your neighbors are cringing and recording podcasts about you that they will publicly display. Now, it's going to sound really simple because I'm just giving it to you in just a few short steps, but it is not simple. It takes a lifetime to master. Yes, it is like, what is that game? That Simply Simon memory game? What is that game? Somebody hit record a message and tell me what game I'm trying to say. That annoying color memory game that I spent a whole summer mastering. It's not a lifetime. Okay, it took me a summer. But anyway, like Simon says, okay, tangent over. Okay, so here's how you stop a screaming argument. The first thing is you need to identify exactly what that unmet need is. This is probably what's going to take you the longest and the most amount of money and several journals. As you write it all out, and you're going to start by blaming everybody else first, and then you're going to start lamenting, and you'll be in victim mode, and it's because of this happened to me, and my parents are assholes, and it's I get it, okay? A lot of our parents are assholes. We get it. We all had that shitty upbringing. Okay, so get that all out of the way first. Maybe go get some therapy, somato-emotional release. I highly recommend it. You got to get a good practitioner, though, that you truly trust and has a lot of integrity and good boundaries. So once you've done that inner work, which is probably going to take you a couple of years, I would say 2 to 48 years. And once you finish doing that process, by the way, you don't finish, you continue for the rest of your life. Got you. So once you actually identified what that need is and you start getting proficient and being like, you know what, it wasn't really that the garage door was left open. It's that I had asked him before if he could close it. And when he forgets, it reminds me of how unheard I feel by my parents who, when I make a request, they pretty much pretend I never spoke. And that makes me feel invisible. And my self-esteem has taken a huge hit because of it. And I really hate that feeling. It feels like I'm going to disappear into the abyss. Whoa! Little therapy session there, huh? You can see why I was a coach. By the way, yes, I am for hire. Moving on. Once you've identified that need, you really need to train your self-awareness to understand when you are starting to get triggered. So when you're starting to feel that screamy feeling coming up, you're going to be like, there it is. That's my unmet need. Okay, stop, pause, do not open your mouth, do not let out the scream. What you're going to do is you're going to do whatever it takes to not scream, whether it means walking away for 5 seconds or, taking 5 minutes to kind of breathe and think it through. And then you are actually going to treat your partner like a human being who cannot read your mind. And you are going to say out loud, in as calm a voice as possible, which is incredibly hard when you're triggered, I get it. You're going to say something very short, simple, and sweet, exactly what you feel. Can I share something with you? I'm feeling unheard. I'm getting triggered because of my own past, my own childhood. I suddenly felt like a little girl again. Whatever it is, it's crazy, isn't it? I mean, who the heck talks like this? Nobody. What they do is they scream and then their neighbors run and hide in their house. But do you want that? Is that what you want your kids to grow up hearing? I mean, my God, my Chinese people, do I have to record this podcast in Chinese? Please don't make me, because you're just going to laugh at my ABC accent, okay? But I will, if it's what's going to save my people. 我太爱你了. I mean, it's true, okay? So honestly, it's really just these 2 main steps. I mean, there's more to that, but those are the 2 biggest ones, and they're the hardest. If you can get over this hurdle, you can stop the screaming fights. I promise you, they will, and you will be able to sidestep them more and more. Have some faith in your self-awareness. Set your will or set your prayers to just learning this self-awareness, taking that step back, taking the break if you need to, and then opening your mouth and being gutsy. All right, well, maybe I should leave a recording of this on the doorstep of the neighbors. Not that they would understand. I'd have to do a Chinese version. But I really, really, really hope that a little bit of peace can get spread through this. All right, spread this love. If there's somebody you know who really needs some help, or you yourself needs to just do it yourself, and just spread the love yourself. Okay, let's all do this. We can do this. I love you lots. You're listening to the Sophia Chang Show. Thanks so much for listening to the Sophia Chang Show. If you liked what you heard, subscribe, rate 5 stars, and better yet, write a review about what you liked. And feel free to submit any questions that you have that you want answered on air. I really appreciate you listening.